Okay, video response to Hibernian Son, who did a video response to another guy about, bugging out or shit hit the fan situations. Obviously we gotta look at how far somebody's trying to travel. Excuse me, I'm eating some stuff making me burp. Trying to diet. Okay. Anyway, it's not like I downed a whole box of cookies or something either. So when we talk about somebody being stuck on the side of the road, man, it sucks. And when you talk about travel light freeze at night, okay, well, if you're freezing at night, check into a fucking hotel room, okay? This is where emergency funds and travel funds and all that kind of stuff happens. Now, here's where it's not entirely full of shit either. Shit hit the fan, New Orleans, 2005. People who got out of the area, the main disaster zone, there's a race and a rush to get into hotel rooms, okay? In an area where it's intact stuff, there's a race and a rush to get into temporary housing. You work the race, you work the rush. Now, one of the ways you work with that is maybe you don't want to pay full price for that. I understand. So you get your resources, have tow chains, tow stuff, get your vehicle. Your vehicle probably has more supplies in it than you can carry on your back or than you want to carry on your back. And, call AAA, pay somebody to tow your vehicle. Say, listen, I want to recover my vehicle, I got useful stuff in there, we're going to set up camp in a hotel room, and we'll go round and round the room, and we're going to pitch in to keep that hotel bill going. That's one of the ways to do it. If you got to pack 5 people in a hotel room and sleep on the floor, that's fine. That's where you travel light, and you won't be freezing that night, okay? You might be having to take the bed apart and share blankets, whoever's got a sleeping bag. I mean, this is how young people travel, and it works. Yeah, so you got to think about these things, but think about what you're bringing to the table. I repeat this in a lot of my videos. What can I bring to the table? One of the ways that you can effectively hitchhike is wave a $5 bill. Okay, just wave a $5 bill. How you talk to somebody who's traveling that way on a freeway. Hey, my vehicle broke down. It's at a mechanic. We got it to a storage yard. We got it to a place. I got to get up the road. I got to get to my family. Can this I'll help out with gas? You look in Craigslist right now in a Craigslist ride share. Ride needed to so and so, and people get better results being relatively honest, where they say, listen, I don't want to pay full rate, but I'll pay something. That's fair, okay? You just offer to pay, okay? There's a story that came out of the first Gulf War about a British SAS group called Bravo 20. It was like a code name for one of the SAS teams. It was in Iraq. They were doing some snoop and poop recon stuff, and they got discovered by the Iraqis. At about that time, they had a problem with the radio, so they couldn't call in an extraction. In a book and a movie about Bravo 20, we get to hear about their adventures and misadventures trying to escape from the middle of Iraq, which was hostile territory to them, shooting and looting their way out, moving like bandits and pirates, carjacking, attacking whatever they could, fighting whatever they could. That group went to war with the Iraqi army when the original scope of the operation was, do recon, and you're just trying to liberate Kuwait. Well, those guys basically illegally went to war against the Iraqi army, and they eventually got run to the ground. Most of them captured. The ones who escaped into Syria were never heard from alive again. A lot of it had to do with the attempt to shoot and loot and rob their way across a continent, okay, across a pretty broad area. One of the things about this was that the British government had issued them gold coins so that they could bribe their way around. Dude, it's the Middle East. Those people, yeah, they're Muslims, yeah, this is it. They understand what gold is. They understand what getting more gold is. And it's an old thing they used to leave with airmen. They used to drop leaflets over places with their air raids. If you help one of the Allied pilots out, you get paid. Okay, you get paid. This is how these things work. They had what called a blood chit, which basically was that if you, any of those civilians, any of those people, they get a reward for coming up with the live Allied personnel, or whether it was somebody parachuted out of a plane or something like that. They weren't always rescuing those Allied personnel out of the goodness of their hearts. They knew there were very good rewards for that. Okay, if you're in an emergency situation, don't be afraid to pay. Okay, don't. I've been stuck on the side of the road. There was a video I did a couple years ago when a trailer hub blew apart on one of my rigs. Now, that was in Chehalis, Washington, where there were people looking to take advantage and price gouge me and fuck me over and steal from me. Had I left my vehicle with just a backpack, I would have probably made it back to find that vehicle gone. Okay, and everybody who was there would say they saw nothing. Okay, that's kind of how things worked in that town, and I figured it out pretty quickly. When I went around trying to pay my way out of the problem, I found additional roadblocks to this, like people didn't want to be open that day, didn't want to do things then. They were basically waiting to get a hold of what would legally be an abandoned vehicle on the side of the road. Eventually, another veteran pulled up, helped me a little bit. I had tools, and I had a lot of tools in my truck. I actually rebuilt that hub situation on the side of the road. Another time, I was on Craigslist rideshare, which meant I was a rider, and go back and forth. I offered a certain amount of money to get to the San Francisco Bay Area. Somebody responded to the ad. A few people responded to the ad. First one's flaked. The second one, these guys show up. They got their Afghan war veteran stickers on their car. I open a door, smell some weed. I'm like, well, I need to get to California in a hurry. Okay, man, I got money. And so I'm riding in the back of a Saturn Ion for the first leg of the trip. Now, when somebody my size has to ride in the back of a Saturn Ion, that's a bit of a challenge. But, you know, we did it. And then when we get partway on the trip, you know, dude wants to drive on Highway 1 in the rain with a car that had bald tires, with a joint in one hand and a steering wheel in the other. And I said, listen, dude, how about letting me drive? I'm not smoking. So that was part of the asset. And then on the trip, I'm paying for meals. I decided to be generous. I want everybody to be on my good side, or me on their good side, so I'm paying my way. And it turned out the guy was a bit of a survivor, you know, and learned his military skills. And we stopped for food. We stopped to check a couple of things, and you know, I noticed he's got his whole bug-out bag, survival gear, all that kind of stuff in the trunk of the car. At about 3 a.m. North of Sacramento, a tire blew, and you know, all the survival gear, all these little pocket knife things, and a wallet card. Listen, it's fucking barren out there north of Sacramento. It is barren, man. It's the California Central Valley is a desert that they happen to irrigate, and there's nothing out there. But you know what? They can add. I got a cell phone. I got a AAA card. I used that to get this guy a tire on his car, because it turned out he had a spare tire. I think he had a jack, and then going through everything, no lug wrench. Survival gear, spare tire, jack, no lug wrench. No lug wrench in the whole thing. And I can't do lug nuts with a Leatherman tool, okay? So you want to think about your vehicle situation, but also, you know, the shit hit the fan world is still in the real world, okay? You want to think about a backup credit card that you don't use for other stuff. You want to think about AAA, or you have AAA similar roadside assistance plans that you can get through your regular insurance companies. Use those things, okay? None of those were shut down in New Orleans when that went down. They don't shut down during earthquakes. They just get busier. Don't be afraid to tip or bribe somebody, okay? If I got to take my watch off or pull some valuable item out of a bug-out bag and say, listen, man, you know, get me where I need to go, you get this. We've all seen Star Wars, okay? When Luke and Obi-Wan Kenobi and the two droids got to reconnect with the Rebel Alliance, they meet Han Solo, and what do? Well, Luke sells his speeder to get a down payment to Han Solo to get out to Alderaan, okay? And they say, okay, in Alderaan, we're going to hook you up even better. Don't be afraid to pay, okay? If I need to get to my survival retreat, and for whatever reason I ended up without a vehicle, okay, I got stuff out there that's going to be really fucking good for somebody who gets me to where I need to go. Okay, you get me you get me out of a jam, you get me out of a bad situation, you're going to be taken care of pretty well later on. And I'll develop that as a reputation. Okay, I kind of expect that of other people too. If I get somebody out of a jam, I expect to be taken care of. That's one of the reasons why people call me a jerk about it. You know, I carry very specific survival items that are profiled to help wealthy people. I carry a defibrillator in my truck because it's older wealthy people that could be having a health problem that could need that thing, and I know if I save their life, they you know, I got something coming, maybe even from God. Okay, if I can save a life with that extra medical gear or that defibrillator, maybe I got something coming. If you get me out of a jam, you got something coming. And you need to be able to understand that that's probably a better way to survive, a better way to get ahead in some of these situations than having a credit card switchblade or some crazy shit like that.